Hey guys, Sustain 16th Music here, and today, Traction launched a new update for Waveform 10, so it's now on Waveform 11, and they also released a new free DAW, Waveform Free. So, I wouldn't really call this a completely new free DAW, because it's more of an update to Traction 7, their old free DAW. Except with a different name. So Traction 7 is no longer available. Waveform Free is its replacement. I hear you saying, like, oh no, this is bad, all my project files are in Traction, they're not going to be able to be used anymore. But Traction files are compatible with Waveform. So, really this is just an update for Traction, but they changed the name. I'm assuming to make it less confusing, because both the company name and the DAW name were Traction. So, now we have Waveform Free, the update for Traction 7. So, there are a lot of new features and really cool things, and there's no reason to not switch, because Waveform is also open source. Well, not open source, sorry. It's not open source, but it's available for Linux, Mac, and Windows, and I'm pretty sure there's even a Raspberry Pi version, if I'm not mistaken, but that might be for the full version of Waveform. And unlimited number of tracks, so there's no reason not to upgrade. And if you don't know what Traction is, I'm just going to go over the main features of Waveform, and if you do, I'm going to show you all the updated things. So, the main thing that I think is the main feature about Waveform is this new plugin, Forosk, that comes with it. So, previously, there weren't many instrument VSTs that came with it. In fact, there was only one, I think, and it was a sampler. But now we have this synthesizer. So, and it sounds really good. So, first I'm just going to show you some patches for it, and then I'm going to make a patch so you can see its capabilities, and I'm just going to briefly go over everything it has, but I'll probably make a separate video on this synthesizer and going over that. And it is a subtractive synthesizer. So here we have dub bass, and if you hear a bunch of latency going on during this, it's because I'm not using audio drivers, because I can't record with audio drivers, but usually it's a lot more smooth than this. So there we have it. So that's one patch. There are a lot better patches for this. I just was picking random ones. Effortless. Here's basic lead. So there we have that basic lead. Here's dirtier. Alright, so there's that. Now I'm going to reset to default and show you just the main things. So up here's the oscillator section. We have sine wave, square wave with pulse width modulation, saw, triangle, and noise. I really like the noise because it has a lot of high frequency, not much low, so that makes it sound a lot cleaner and nicer. I'm going to be going through this pretty fast just so you guys can see all the features, and you can skip ahead if you don't want to see this. But I will be doing an in-depth tutorial and probably review of this. But I really like the synthesizer. So here we have that. We have unison, so how many voices of unison, coarse tuning and fine tuning, detune, spread, so you can get really wide sounding things. I'm going to show you how the pulse width modulation sounds. Ow, that is loud. Okay, there we go. Alright. And then there's the unison and spread, and then we have level and panning, so you can mix the oscillators. This has 4 oscillators, so here's 1 and 2, 3 and 4 are over here. They all have the same controls. Over here's the filter section, so we have low pass, with resonance, and 12 and 24 dB. Key tracking, so you can have the filter be low and higher based on which key you're pressing. Velocity, how sensitive to velocity it is. We have a dedicated filter envelope, which you can get some really nice transients out of. I'm just kind of going through here quickly, so that obviously doesn't sound good. We have low pass, and I'll show you what that sounds like with something noisier. And normally it's not that, kind of, you don't get that weird clippy sound kind of thing. Now we have the high pass filter with all the same controls, and we have also a band pass and notch. Alright, down here, I'm just going to turn it back to low pass. Here we have an amplitude envelope with velocity, and you can turn analog on and off. And then here we have just some modulator, some just envelopes to modulate, so standard ADSR, and to map it, you click that, and then move whatever you want to be mapped to it. Then you have 2 LFOs with different shapes that you can choose, the depth of the LFO, sync to tempo on or off, and so you can have it be in hertz or in beats per minute. And then over here you have 2 of those LFOs, and then here we have just our mappings for different controls. Here are the global controls, so we have just our master volume, how many voices there are, the mode, so there's poly, which is polyphonic and it has however many voices that is, up to 32 voices. It has legato, which lets you slide between them, like that. And then you can turn that off like that, so it doesn't slide, or you can push mono. So there's that. And then we have some reverb, some delay, some chorus, which makes it a lot wider, and then some distortion. So yeah, there's that. So that's basically all I'm going to go over for Frosk. In general, I really love it. This is like an amazing synthesizer for free. Like, I've never come across a synthesizer this good for free, because the filter just sounds so nice, and it has pulse width modulation, and it's polyphonic, so I just really love that. The second main feature is another instrument plugin. We have the micro drum micro drum sampler. So I'm just going to get a kick drum. That sounds good. And then a snare. That sounds good as well. And then a hi-hat. Oh, come on. Alright, that sounds good. And then, as easy as that, I have a drum sample as easy as that. You just drag them on there, and there you go. Previously, you would have had to assign notes in, like, the simple sampler that they had there, and now you just have this, and it's mapped to the right notes, and you can change the volume and velocity sensitivity and all that stuff. So the next main thing is, now there's this modifier thing, so you can drag an LFO onto here. Right now all they have is LFOs, so then you can control the LFO over here and get some parameters and assign it to stuff. And that makes it really easy to have LFOs there. Here's the standard add plugin thing. Here is the add clip, so you can, there's the step clips, which is like for drums, the edit clip, which is for having different edits in there that sync across, which is really cool. There's audio clips, and then there's MIDI clips. The cool thing about the MIDI clip is now there is this. So now it's more like Ableton, so when you open it, it actually opens this thing on the bottom, which makes it a lot easier to navigate the tracks and still open here, because previously what you would have had is you would have had something like this, and it would have been really hard to input notes and see kind of where you are, and every scroll would kind of mess you up. So now you just have this, and here's that. You have the standard select notes thing, so you can select different notes and move them around and stuff. You have the place notes thing. I'm gonna get a Forost in here, so you can place notes and drag their length like that, which makes it more efficient to place notes. And then if you double click a note, it disappears. So you can really like make tons of melodies just with this. This is the eraser tool, so you can just go in and erase all your notes. Here's the line tool, which is more useful in automation, but it's there. Here we have this, which allows you to, if you have like a melody in here, let's just say that sounds good and is a melody, then you can show and hide the notes in that. Mute and, yeah, you can mute and like hide the notes in that, so that then you can like kind of create new melodies out of the ones you already have. And then here is the preview selected note tool. Well, not selected note, but note at cursor, so I can just go and it plays that. So that's the new features with MIDI clips. And here you have the automation thing, so that's where I can show you this line tool. It allows you to draw in automation curves, but you could also just use this and draw in like that. So yeah, it's a really cool thing, and you can pop that out and stuff. Another thing that I like now is all these effects that aren't really changed, they now actually pop out. So previously you would have had to click that if you were in this view, and I guess if you were in if you were in this view, it would have already been there, but no one likes this view. This view is just so much more efficient, so there's that. And also, Waveform is just a lot more stable, so there are a bunch of bug fixes. Like, previously, if you were in this view and you clicked 4.4, like, the BPM would come up, and if you clicked C major, 4/4 would come up. So it was just really weird to click over here because the buttons just weren't aligned. But now that's fixed. And then the next major thing is there is a mixer view. So here you can show the views thing. So there's the MIDI thing, there's the side tracks, everything else I have shown except that mixer. So this allows you to, here you can add plugins, and it's just a lot more efficient of a way to do things. So here you have just your standard level, your mute and solo. So this is just a way to do a different way to look when you're mixing stuff. And over here you can show different aspects of the mixer thing. So that's kind of cool. And over here I'm pretty sure this is a macro that you can assign to do basically whatever you want. So there's the new mixer view, and you can come up here and just turn that off. You can even turn off those controls, though that's useful to have down there all the time. So yeah, there's that. Next is a really cool plugin, which I will never use, I don't think, but it's going to be like really, really useful for some people. And that is the MIDI chord player. This is a new plugin that allows you to control what chord you're playing. So over here, these are the, in all chords mode, these are the things to select chords. So you can move that around. I'm going to move it right there. So now in this octave, if I hit notes here, these are the notes I'm hitting. It doesn't play any notes because that's just selecting what type of chord I want. Up here, it will play chords. So what we have is, this is the chord selector. So when you have no key pressed and then just push a key up here, you have a triad, a major triad. No matter where you go, it's always just a major triad. Now if you click here, it's a minor triad, and then if you click here, it's a diminished triad, augmented, major seventh, quad, minor seventh quad, a dominant seventh chord, half diminished seventh, a minor major seventh, an augmented seventh, a sixth chord, a minor sixth chord, and then a sus4 chord. And then open is the major triad again. So there's that, and that allows you to kind of do that. I know music theory, so for me it's a lot easier just to play an F minor 7 chord. Well, that was an F major 7 chord, but play an F minor 7 chord than it is to be like, okay, minor 7th chord, so that means I have to press an E, and then I want it to be an F, so I go up here, but I want it to be an octave lower, but if I go an octave lower, then I'm just doing a dominant 7 chord. So it's not really intuitive for me, but if you don't know music theory, then that's a really good way to get some chords. And then, this is an even more useful thing, chords in key only. So now, it will look at the key that you have here. So right now it's just C major, so we'll keep it there because that's the easiest key. And I'm going to move this down to there. Alright, so now, if I click here, it just says a major triad because I'm clicking open. And then if I do a D, it's going to do a minor triad because in the key of C major, there's no D major triad, so it does minor. And then and there are still two things to select, but that's basically just variations. So what you have is the 6th chord, so you can have a major 6th here. So if I'm holding 6th, you have the major 6th, but then if I go up to a D, you'd have a minor sixth. And then up here we have the 7th chords if you press C sharp down there. And you can assign that to different notes just by dragging this thing. But now we have 7th chords, so if I press a C, it'll be a major 7th, D minor 7th, G dominant 7th, B half diminished. So that's an easier way to do it, because even without anything, well, I'll just hold down 7th so we get a more dreamy chord. I can just go, and there you have a chord progression just right off the bat from pressing one note. So if you don't know music theory, that's a really useful tool. And then over here, there are also chord tracks, so you can select chords and things, and they just generally updated the appearance of it and color scheme. But yeah, overall I really love Waveform. There's no reason not to upgrade. And if you it was basically just a overview of the new features, but if you want to know how to use Waveform, you can watch this video, and then I also have a video on how to use Traction 7, and that will get you up to date on all the just things that were already in Traction 7. And I might make another version of that video using Waveform. So yeah, keep an eye out for my Foros tutorial and stuff like that, but I have several tutorials on synthesis on my channel, subtractive synthesis, additive, FM synthesis, some modular. So yeah, go look for those on my channel. And I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but I haven't stopped making music. I've just been taking a break from making videos. So now I'm hopefully going to be back to making videos, and I hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Please. Oh, and if you see me using Traction in later videos, that's just because they were recorded before Waveform Free came out. So just know that I'm using Waveform, not Traction. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep on making music. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.